Dana Adkins is a local personal injury lawyer with her own boutique law firm called Palmetto State Injury Lawyers. I talk one-on-one with Dana about the cases she's taking on right now for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Dana Adkins, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Hello, good afternoon.
Oh, I appreciate it greatly. Needless to say, you are a personal injury lawyer with Palmetto State Injury Lawyers, which is a boutique law firm which you owned and founded actually in 2010. And I know at Palmetto State Injury Lawyers, you help injury victims across South Carolina stand up to the powerful infrastructure in insurance companies and large corporations. So tell me, Dana, what's new, what's now with Palmetto State Injury Lawyers?
My firm has shifted a couple of times, more than a couple of times since 2010. The world has shifted. So we've adapted as that has happened. We are unique in that we are entirely remote. So I shut my brick and mortar office when COVID started, really embraced technology and never looked back. Other positives that have came out of that is being able to make myself personally more accessible to clients. So my support is all in the background. So unlike a lot of law firms, you don't meet with or deal with paralegals or support staff. My clients talk and deal with me. Every client that I have has my cell phone. We call, we text. I've really integrated my home life and my work life. So it works out well for me.
Oh, yes. Let me ask you, Dana, how has technology, that is, helped your particular law firm?
It has completely reshaped and redesigned my law firm. From a client perspective, they no longer have to take off work or race in during lunch just to sign papers. Or fight for parking. Clients who are injured sometimes have mobility issues, so that would always be especially cumbersome for them. So it's great to be able to meet my clients where they are. So if clients do want to meet in person, I will literally physically go to them, but also I can meet with them virtually. And sometimes I get a lot from that. When a client meets with you from their home, say, I get in the background a little perspective of what their day-to-day life is. So I may see something that triggers a question. For example, I once saw organized medicines on a table, and it led to a conversation with my client about all the new medicines they were taking and how they were scheduling those and keeping up with those, which helps tell their story about how whatever's happened to them has changed their lives. Beyond virtual, the past year, the legal world, much of the world has been debating AI technology. I am very technology forward leaning. So I believe AI can be good or bad. It is a tool. And those who try to rely on it as more than a tool find themselves in trouble. But if you learn how to use it and use it smartly, it can increase the value of cases, make you more efficient, help things move forward cleaner.
I don't want to get to that in just a second, Dana, but you talk about those volume of cases. Since technology has helped you out in your particular law firm, how much have those cases at your law firm increased as far as the volume?
Well, I wouldn't say increase. A goal of mine is not to increase volume. I cap my caseload for my firm at 50 cases. I only take cases I believe in. I don't have a goal to have a mega firm. I don't have a goal to be on a billboard or on TV. I don't have a goal to have other attorneys working for me. My law firm operates as Palmetto State Injury Lawyers, but legally it's Dana Adkins, attorney at law. So when somebody hires my firm, they're hiring me. I did work at a larger firm for 3 months, and I had a caseload of over 200 cases. And every day I was just triaging and putting out fires. And that's, I really like to get into the weeds with my cases and know the intricacies and ins and outs. So I wouldn't say it's increased my volume, but it has increased the depth that I am able to dive into what's going on in each case.
So let me just ask you bluntly, what are your clients' needs and wants these days?
I mean, I don't think that clients' needs and wants have changed in the roughly 15 years that I've been practicing, or maybe ever. I mean, clients want someone who will listen to them and hear their story and know that they're a person and a human being, that something has happened to. They're not a file. They want somebody who's available, who they can ask questions to. I have clients, one of the things I've learned over the years is it makes clients more comfortable if they just hear, if saying there is no update is an update. Clients just want to know that they're not forgotten, that their case isn't collecting dust somewhere. And all personal injury clients want to maximize their money, but they also want to do that efficiently and share frustrations with the slowness of the legal process. But yeah, I don't think that clients' wants or needs have changed.
You talk about the legal process. You say you've been obviously in the legal business for the past 15 years. What is the biggest difference about the legal process from when you started to right now?
Um, Well, South Carolina courts are slower than some, but they are slowly but surely embracing technology. So what I would deem is really simple concepts like online filing. I mean, when I first started, I had to drive to the courthouse with 3 stacks of my pleadings and hand them to the clerk of court and wait on them to, clock them in. Now I can just, complete something, file it right here from my computer. Um, some judges, most of them have been open to embracing hearings online. I really believe if you don't have witnesses testifying, in a lot of what happens in legal proceedings, it's just a couple of attorneys and a judge. And the two attorneys don't agree on something usually procedural, and the judge has to make a decision because we can't agree on it ourselves. Those kinds of hearings can be conducted just like you and I are meeting today. I can explain myself to the judge and the other attorney, and the judge can make a decision. The only time we need to be in a courtroom, in my opinion, is if we're in front of a jury and they're hearing from witnesses and people telling what happened and their understandings of what happened. So I think that has also made courts more efficient. It's also decreased costs for a lot of clients. If they're not paying me to take time to drive to the courthouse, not always in Charleston, I may be in Greenville, Spartanburg, Florence, wherever. If they're not paying me to drive to those places, sometimes I would have to get hotels because you'd have a hearing in Spartanburg at 9 a.m. There's lots of ways that it's just more efficient, time-wise, financially. It just makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember being a juror a couple of months ago, not a couple of years ago down at the courthouse, and that was very interesting to say the least.
I haven't had the joy of being a juror. I don't think I ever will, but it would be a fun perspective to have.
Oh, yes, yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. What do you hope the legal process will change next for your clients?
Change next for my clients. I mean, my firm, I'm constantly growing and learning. I watch either a podcast or a webcast or read a book or read an article at least once a week. I set aside at least 2 hours a week for training of myself. Sometimes that's in person at conferences and things. So, whether it is developments in technology that can make things easier, more efficient, and get better outcomes for my clients. It can be changes in the law. In South Carolina, there was several laws passed at the end of this last legislative session that will impact my clients. And there are several more that are still on the horizon being talked about. So we have to, as attorneys, adjust and adapt to those changes in the law and anticipate them. I say it's not just about litigating, it's about advocating. So those laws that we see coming on the horizon that I may feel may not be in my client's best interest, I really devote some time and attention to advocating against, be that meeting with legislators or being active in certain organizations like the South Carolina Association of Justice.
And so many laws have been passed in the state house this past year, and of course, July 1st is coming up. Which one of those laws are you personally, as a lawyer, adapting to as far as change?
Um, so one of the things I am doing in August is attending a conference, a seminar, and several hours of that will be devoted to learning and discussing with other lawyers how to adapt to the so-called tort reform law.
Right.
A lot of what happened will give relief to bar and restaurant owners. And like I said, I worked in F&B a really long time. I am sympathetic to that. But at the same time, certain things that are in the works, like why am I drawing a blank? For example, in South Carolina, if you have health insurance,
Right.
when you have a personal injury claim, the at-fault driver, whether it was a drunk driver or somebody on their cell phone not paying attention, whatever it was, if you had $10,000 in medical bills, your damages against them are based on your $10,000 in medical bills. One of the things that's being pushed forward would no longer make that the case. It would be such that only your out-of-pocket expenses would count towards your damages. So if you are on Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE, any kind of VA benefits, that may make your damages next to nothing, your medical bills. And all other damages sort of evolve from your medical bills. So personal injury, pain and suffering, emotional loss, we always sort of value those based on medical records. There's no set way that we do it, but we use that as a measuring stick. So eliminating that law is something that I mean, it's probably the number one thing I'm concerned about. A lot of other attorneys, there's a lot on the table, and we are all, the dram shop laws that have to do with liability of bars and restaurants. On its face, I think the general public, it's an easy sell by insurance companies because they're able to say, well, if someone has a drink at noon at one restaurant and then they go home and hang, whatever, and they don't drink again until 9 p.m. that night and they get in a wreck, can the restaurant who served them one drink at lunchtime be sued? And, anybody that's sitting in the public would say, no way, like there's no way, they have no liability. And I don't disagree, they have no liability. And they would, in theory, could they be named in a lawsuit? Yes. In practice, is that going to happen? No. So they are creating these red herring arguments and creating problems that don't need to be fixed, in my opinion, as a means of increasing profits for insurance companies in South Carolina.
What are those other red herring arguments that you see basically as a red flag for this issue?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's windy out here. What are those
other dogs in the room? I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. What are those other red herring arguments that you and other attorneys hope that the legislature will tackle?
Yeah. I mean, so insurance companies, for example, have no transparency with regards to how they set insurance rates. And so while insurance rates are going sky high, whether that is liability insurance for bars and restaurants, whether it's homeowners insurance, car insurance, we don't, do they set the rates in a completely arbitrary manner? If my client gets in a wreck, how does that, they have a client who gets in a car wreck, has no way to foresee how that's going to impact their rates. Are the rates going to go up? I don't know. How much are they going to go up? I don't know. There is no transparency. They're not required by our Department of Insurance to disclose that. There's no regulation of insurance companies within South Carolina. And these are all things that are changing quickly in states across the country. Florida, Georgia has had a huge change in their laws. And we can look to those states to show that insurance companies, the propaganda they're putting forward is not the reality. Insurance rates don't lower in those areas when you have tort reform bills and things that go forward. They just don't. There's years of data. They're not going to lower your insurance rates. They're just not. And they haven't in other states. So there's no reason to believe they're going to do it here in South Carolina.
Wow. I wish I could continue more time with you, but I know you're busy. But
You're
quick,
good.
oh, no worries. But quickly, Dana, matter of factly, I spoke with State Senator Ed Sutton about that earlier this year. So there's a full interview about that here on Quintin's Post Ups on YouTube. But I know you're not in the business promoting. But if somebody has a case and want to bring it to you, how do you go about that?
Oh, easy. So like I said, I'm really hands-on. So, they can call or text me. My cell phone number's on my website. It's 843-330-7687. We do also have a law firm phone number. And you can call the firm. That number is 843-823-6237. They can email me. They can find me on social media. It's all just search for Palmetto State Injury Lawyers. My email is dana.adkins@Palmetto State Injury Lawyers. All of that information is accessible on our website. So yeah, really whatever whatever is convenient and easy for them to get in touch with us. And because of the convenience of not having a brick and mortar office, I'm available whenever. So I don't care if it's evenings, weekends. If I miss you, I'll call you back. I mean, I do sleep and take time off, but people can text me, reach out to me anytime, day, night, weekend, it doesn't matter.
That's really, really amazing. Well, Dana Adkins, thank you so much for your time. Again, welcome to Quintin's Post Ups.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.